Now, ordinarily, I'm used to reporting bad news because that's all you'll ever hear from me occasionally. But this is actually good news, and it's driving the left crazy because I think they're just jealous because they didn't think to do this first. Trump managed to accomplish something that the left has more often than not failed to do, and that was secure peace in not just the Middle East, but also in South America. And yeah, it's true that some other nations, like let us say Mexico and Guatemala, are still a mess. But others just south of that are doing a hell of a lot better. And you know what? So is Venezuela ever since Maduro was ousted. But, you know, but I guess being way down below the equator, how would anybody know that? Isn't that right, a-hole C? Yeah. Stupid little tramp doesn't even know it's on the very top of South America, or as she would say, the tippy tops.
He likes it. He feels very comfortable. We all like him, right? It helps. He's got a language. He's got a language advantage over me, because I'm not learning a damn language. I don't have time. I was okay with languages, but I'm not going to spend time learning a language. That much I won't do. Just give me a good interpreter. Interpreter.
Was that a good idea?
These are countries that have been there for us, and these are leaders that are not just allies, they are friends, and they are always willing to work and cooperate with the United States, and we're grateful for them. And as you said, Mr. President, these are also countries with extraordinary potential. Some are fulfilling it, some are well on their way to fulfilling it, and this is important. We want to be a partner with you in that. We want the world to see that when you are a friend and an ally of the United States, it is a good thing. It's reciprocated. It comes back the other way as well. And so the fact the president is here today and making this a priority is so critical. If I may, because some of these cameras cover in Spanish. You all right about that? Oh, good. We don't need an interpreter for this one. Quiero darle las gracias. I think I'm a good interpreter. You'll find out in a second. But las gracias a los países que están aquí hoy. Estos países.
That's why I'm glad Rubio's there.
Una prioridad en su administración. Hay muchos presidentes que han dicho que lo van a hacer, pero él lo ha hecho. Y se lo agradecemos. Y muy agradecido a los 12 países que están aquí hoy. Estos son países que no solamente son aliados, son amigos. Son países que siempre responden cuando hay una necesidad y trabajan en conjunto con nosotros, y queda mucho por hacer. Estos son países que tienen una gran población, mucho potencial, y queremos ser sus socios en desarrollar sus países, sus economías y su seguridad. Y le doy las gracias de verdad por estar aquí en el día de hoy con nosotros. Que Dios bendiga a todos esos países, a los Estados Unidos. Y gracias, como siempre, por la cooperación. Seguiremos trabajando en conjunto y vamos a hacer cosas muy buenas, muy importantes para esta región, que van a hacer que las generaciones futuras nos van a agradecer el labor que estamos haciendo en el momento de hoy. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, buenos tacos.
Is he better in Spanish or in English? I think he's better in Spanish. I mean, he's great. Pete, please.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, I only speak
This, of
American.
course, is Pete Hegseth.
Speak Cuban.
You see, once upon a time, El Salvador was a crime-ridden hellhole that was just an honest-to-God hellscape for, let us say, drug dealing, and also for and used to be known as the murder capital of the world. But President Trump, I believe, actually straightened that whole thing out and turned it all around. Now it's considered one of the most thriving countries in all of South America, with thriving cities, great businesses, great food, and again, the volcanoes that if you want to watch them go off, be my guest if you want to be that close to an active volcano. But this is why the left can't stand these leaders of South America, because they're all in line with President Trump on what he is basically calling, which he's calling the Shield of Americas Act for both North and South America. And this is what's driving the left crazy.
Of individuals here that you're going to see come out there. Obviously, I believe that's President Bukele there.
That is Nayib Bukele, the president of El Salvador, somebody who's very much shares not just a deep friendship, but a philosophy with the president about crime. President Bukele, the man you're looking at right there, has turned his country, which was the most dangerous country in the world, into right now, El Salvador, because of his policies, is now the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. He has turned that country into an economic miracle. And now some of the surrounding countries are in trouble because the criminals don't want to be in El Salvador, so they're fleeing to other countries in Latin America, which is why President Trump now is trying to unite all these countries together.
Several different countries. We have a map, if we can put up the map, that shows where these countries are being represented today, from Argentina to Bolivia to Trinidad and Tobago to the Dominican Republic, really all over. But it's notable that we're not seeing the leaders, President Sheinbaum of Mexico, not here today. Also, the leader
who cares
of Cuba
about
not
her?
here. We didn't expect the leader of Cuba to be here, but Cuba has been in talks recently and on the forefront recently of President Trump's mind. He's been busy clearly with what's going on in Iran, but recently he's been telling reporters and news outlets that Cuba is something else that he is looking at.
As part of our commitment to countering the cartel presence in our region, we must recognize the epicenter of cartel violence is Mexico. The Mexican cartels are fueling and orchestrating much of the bloodshed and chaos in this hemisphere, and the United States government will do whatever is necessary to defend our national security and to protect the safety of the American people. No, look, it's coming through Mexico. And I like the president very much. She's a very good person. She's got a beautiful voice, a beautiful woman, but a beautiful voice. President.
That can only take you so far.
I said, let me eradicate the cartels. No, please, President. We have to eradicate them. We have to knock the hell out of them.
Knock the hell out of
It's getting
them.
worse. They're taking over that country. The cartels are running Mexico. We can't have that. Too close to us. Too close to you. But everything comes in through Mexico, mostly.
Close
But
to
we're working with you to
you.
do whatever we have to do.
Excuse
We
me.
use missiles. You want us to use a missile, they're extremely accurate.
Close to you.
Right into the living room. That's the end of that cartel person. But we'll do
That's the name of that
you
tune.
want. A lot of countries don't want to do that. They say, oh, sure, I'd rather not have that. I'd rather not have. I believe they can be spoken to. I don't think so. As we achieve a historic transformation in Venezuela, we're also looking forward to the great change that will soon be coming to Cuba. Cuba's at the end of the line. They're very much at the end of the line. They have no money. They have no oil. They have a bad philosophy. They have a bad regime that's been bad for a long time. And they used to get the money from Venezuela. They get the oil from Venezuela. But they don't have any money from Venezuela. They don't have any oil. They don't have anything from... People can't even... They land in Cuba. They can't get gasoline to fly out. They have to leave their planes behind. And they want to negotiate, and they are negotiating with Marco and myself and some others. And I would think a deal would be made very easily with Cuba. But for 50 years I've been hearing, as a little boy, I'd be hearing about Cuba. Cuba's a disaster. But I've been hearing so much about Cuba. But Cuba's in its last moments of life, as it was. It'll have a great new life, but it's in its last moments of life the way it is. And but our focus right now is on Iran. And we'll do that. I would say, what will you do? Take about 2 days off, Marco? No, he won't. Maybe an hour. He'll take 1 hour off, and then he'll finish up a deal on Cuba. That'll be an easy one.
Right, and good afternoon to you, Alex. The president is not just focusing on the Middle East. He announced a new coalition to combat drug trafficking and cartels with multiple Latin American leaders in Miami earlier today. In the first Shields of America summit, the president said that the heart of the military partnership called America's Counter Cartel Coalition is a commitment to using a lethal military force to destroy cartels. He said that the U.S. had amazing weaponry and that these Latin American countries just need to tell the U.S. where the cartel operatives are. 17 nations have entered the partnership with the presidents of El Salvador, Argentina, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Honduras, Bolivia, and the president-elect of Chile there today.
The only way to defeat these enemies is by unleashing the power of our militaries. We have to use our military. You have to use your military. You can't fight these people with, and you have great police. You have some great police, but they threaten your police. They scare your police.
The meeting comes just 2 months after the capture of Venezuelan President Maduro. Trump formally recognizing the Venezuelan government this week, praised interim President Delcy Rodriguez for working with them and saying that the U.S. has been able to take out tremendous amounts of oil. The president also putting Cuba on notice, saying that the country is in its last moments of life as it was, but it will have a great new life. And Kristi Noem was also there in her new role as the special envoy to the Shield of Americas, the president nominating Oklahoma Senator
At least she's
Markwayne
not
Mullin
totally
to
out of a
replace her as
job.
Secretary of Homeland Security after bipartisan backlash. President Trump also said that the epicenter of cartel violence in the Western Hemisphere is Mexico. And just 2 weeks ago, the Mexican military killed El Mincho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, during a raid to capture him. And they reportedly used U.S. intelligence to locate him, Alex.
All right, that's Mills Hayes reporting.
That was one thing I could not figure out. If Kristi Noem did such a great job when she was actually working as Secretary of Homeland Security, then why was it, of course, that she was asked to step down, or she was, I guess, to throw away all euphemisms and drop all diplomacy, fired? Well, then why was that, okay? Because they said that she lied about something under oath, which I don't buy anymore. And, well, apparently she does have a new position in the Trump administration, and I guess she's going to talk about it in this last clip here. I might as well, at this point, play the clip on the way out and just leave it from there. This has been the Robozoid saying, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if so, well, then smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and, of course, I'll let Kristi Noem do all the rest of the talking from here.
Flashback.
During the transition talking about it, and he said to me one day, we had a meeting, I left his office, and then Natalie came chasing me down the hall, and she goes, the president wants to tell you something he forgot to visit with you about. So I came back into his office, and he said, Kristi, do you know those ads that you did in South Dakota? Oh.
Well, you see, as you can see, she made this little announcement here at CPAC a couple of months ago. So, yeah, why was she fired? Why did they claim she did such a bad job when realistically she didn't do that bad? So, yeah, that's why I'm trying to figure it all out here.
Oh, and I said, yes, sir. You mean my Freedom Works Here ads? And he said, yeah, those ones where those beautiful ads, those beautiful ads. Beautiful. You did about South Dakota.
Beautiful.
About Rushmore, all those things. He said, I want you to do those for the border. Brilliant. And I said, well, sir, I don't know how that works. You mean the ones where I was a plumber and where I was an electrician, and I don't know if I can do those for the border. And he said, no, I want you to do those for the border.
Oh, I see. She wasn't smart enough.
Everywhere, not just in the United States, but I want them around the world. I want you to tell people not to come to this country if they're going to come here illegally. And I said, well, sir, we can do press conferences. We can tell people what we're doing. And he said, nope, we're not going to let the media tell this story, because the media will never tell the truth. We're going to do a marketing campaign to make sure the American people know the truth of what you're doing. And I said, well, sir, do you want to be in those ads? And he said, nope, I want you to do them. No? He said, no, I don't. I want you in the ads. He said, I want you in the ads, and I want your face in the ads. But he said, but I want the first ad, I want you to thank me. So I want you to thank me for closing the border. And I said,
And the ego on him.
Thank you for closing the border. So if you notice, in that ad, we thanked him for closing the border. And then
Our objectives are going to be to destroy the cartels, to go after these narco-terrorists that are destroying our people, killing our children and our grandchildren. We're also going to keep our adversaries at bay. Those adversaries that wish to change our way of life and our values that are outside of our hemisphere, we want to ensure that we're continuing to keep them out of our hemisphere and focus on building alliances amongst ourselves and our strengths. We have worked and are proud of the Department of War with the conference that many of you just attended the last few days, and we'll continue to do that. We want our hemisphere to be safer, to be more sovereign, and to be more prosperous, and looking forward to working with you on all of that. The first objective will be not just on sovereignty, but also migration control, that we will work on economic prosperity. We'll have and reverse these harmful foreign influences that have come into many of our businesses, our technologies,
and we've seen infiltrate different areas of our way of life. That will be my objective every day. I will, when the press leaves, give you all my personal cell phone numbers so that you can reach me at any time that you may need something, and we'll work together to continue to make sure that our relationship is a shield to the Americas, that this will be a Western Hemisphere that is better, safer, more prosperous, and more free because of the leadership that all of you provide. So thank you to Secretary Rubio for hosting this and having the vision to bring us all together. I think this will be something that for years to come will bring more security to our nations.
You see, she actually did a good job then. You know, since there's no more illegal immigration anymore, and of course the drug cartels have stopped. So stop picking on poor old Christie, okay? All right? Bye.